I'm here today with the staff from Houndstooth. We're really excited to join with them and celebrating a pretty monumentous event for M&R companies. So we're looking at the upcoming install of the 100th digital squeegee in the field, which is really exciting for us as a company. But even more exciting, we want to find out about Houndstooth and what brought you to this level where you wanted to integrate digital into what you've traditionally been screen printing for your company. First, I want to just introduce everybody. I'll start with myself. I'm Thomas Trimmingham, Director of Marketing for M&R companies. Can you guys go around one at a time and tell us who you are and what you do at Houndstooth?
Yeah, I'm Michael Baker. I'm the owner, and I started the business 30 years ago, and chug along.
Thanks, Michael.
I'm Justin Brasher. I'm the production manager. I've been in the industry roughly 22 years, and I've been at Houndstooth in that role for 17 years, I believe.
Wow, that's great. Okay.
I'm Kristen Lohman. I'm the creative director here. I've actually almost just about been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
So started from being like the solo creative, and now we have a team. So.
Oh, that's exciting. Very cool. Well, why don't Michael, maybe if you want to share with us just a short, just for our audience, short history of Houndstooth, and how did you guys start? What was the story behind how you started, and what makes your company different?
Well, I started, like I said, 30 years ago in a desperate bid to not have to get up and go to work like everybody else. I was not smart enough, more talented enough to actually do anything or contribute to the world. So I came up with the genius idea, I will start my own business. It made perfect sense to me at the time. And I had designed a few t-shirts in college and had been in a screen print shop. And there was one particular incident where I had designed a t-shirt for a freelance client. And I got to go into the t-shirt shop to see them printed. And the client had paid me $100 to design the t-shirt. And I had just poured my heart and soul into it. I worked on it for weeks. I got paid the grand sum of $100. And I walked in the t-shirt shop and I saw 2,000 t-shirts stacked out, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. As unintelligent as I am, I knew right there that I was on the wrong end of that deal. So yeah. I decided that I would teach myself to screen print. So yeah. I started as a one-person shop and taught myself to screen print.
That's awesome. So what do you feel like is one differentiator? Like what makes Houndstooth a little different than other screen print shops?
Well, I don't have intimate knowledge of other screen print shops because I keep my head so buried in our screen print shop. But I think that somewhere along the way, I got really interested just in the vertical integration of the process. From art through printing, through marketing and selling. And I always have put the value on the art. But great art without a great print is pretty worthless, right?
Right.
Bad prints have screwed up a lot of really great designs. But on the other hand, you can have a really great print of bad art, and it's not going to help. People aren't going to respond to it. Yep. So I just organically felt that connection between great prints and great art. And sure. I just wanted to keep everything sort of in that silo, right? And yeah. So that's how we ended up in retail. And we operate 6 retail locations, and we only sell our own product. Everything sold in our stores is designed by and printed by us. And that really feeds me and my desire to work in this industry and in this space and try to realize this dream I had a long time ago about how all the pieces would fit together. And I'm still super challenged by it and still love coming to work and trying to put all those pieces together. And on the custom side of things, we also do custom printing alongside our retail.
Right.
And the idea there is that we just, we want to keep those presses turning. We want to keep full-time people employed well, paying them good salaries and giving them good benefits. And so seasonality in this business is always a challenge. And so that's what I've been doing really for 30 years, is just trying to balance those things out and put the pieces in place so that the vertical nature of what we do operates at some sort of level that allows me to still be here this time next year.
Yeah. No, that's great. So I think that is one big thing, is that not that many screen printers have their own retail stores. I mean, a fair amount do, but it's less common, right? Because it's almost a separate company, right? Or a separate business in and of itself. So, but that does give you direct, immediate feedback from the consumer on your goods. Like, you know, if your goods are really, you know, people take their wallets out and buy them. It's proof behind what you're doing, right? Immediately. So that's, yeah. So let's jump a little forward now. We were, you know, like I mentioned at the outset, we're looking at the 100th Digital Squeegee from our standpoint. I think what's exciting for us is we've learned a lot, you know, since merging the hybrid technologies together and trying to really get the best of both, you know, the screen printing underbase married with that digital overprint. And then how did that come into play for you guys? Like, when was digital kind of on your radar, and when you started thinking about it?
Well, obviously, we've been aware of it for a long time, you know, since it came into the marketplace. And you always want to move in the direction that the marketplace is going. And,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, you don't necessarily want to be the guinea pig, right? And so we attend shows, we occasionally visit other shops and see what they're doing, and we read forums, we just do our due diligence, and we talk to people, and we find out how it's all working for them. You got to scratch the surface below the marketing, right? No offense to the marketing guy on the other end of the screen. And what we were finding early on and for a while was that the uses for direct to garment were very specific. And they were always a value added. There didn't seem to be, until recently, an actual fit if you're producing large volumes on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
And, certainly not for the way we operate and who we want to be, right? And so we just proceeded with caution, like we always do when we make a big purchase. We just do our due diligence and we try to make an informed decision. And last year we had narrowed it down to auto reclaiming equipment, or some version of, you know, a digital direction.
Right.
And when we really sat down and had in-depth conversations about it and how it would fit in with what we're doing here and who we want to be and how our current system works, how our flow works right now, we thought the DS was the way to go.
Yeah. And so that's great. I think, you know, the fact that you did all that diligence is key, because I think, you know, it has to be the right fit for your business when you're in the right level. So I want to talk to your team now, because one of the things we learned, you know, working with the Digital Squeegee, is how key and how important training is. And in many cases, the sooner people start to train on any kind of ramp up to your business, expansion, or even shift in the way you decorate, the better. You're better off getting more training sooner than waiting, you know, and then getting the thing set up or getting, you know, the new options there. So just tell us what it was like. I mean, you recently came out to M&R, right? Correct?
Yeah.
And tell us how that went.
Well, it was amazing, honestly. Being in the industry for so long and falling in love with the process early on, you know, I was in sales originally, and then I found my time back at shops off the road. I was intrigued by the process, you know? So getting to see, I mean, we toured your facility. I mean, getting to see how the presses are made, you know, that you guys are doing that right there in the United States was kind of mind blowing, honestly. And it was so valuable just to see that. And then your crew that trained us on the Digital Squeegee were very knowledgeable. Their system was down. I mean, they worked in unison together. So kind of getting to see how they did things and the speed at which they were able to do things was extremely eye-opening. Not to mention, you know, it's a new technology for us, and you know, technologies in this industry aren't going backwards. You know, they're going forward, and so there's a lot to learn. You know, and getting to see that firsthand and talk to your guys that are in there training others and doing it every day, it was just invaluable. You know.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Justin. And so, what do you feel about on the art side now? What was your thought?
You know, I've always been gravitated to screen printing too, just because I love the style of art and the kind of limitations of like the colors. So this is a totally different ballgame for me. Going and seeing the team, and I can concur with Justin that they just were so knowledgeable, and it was great to be able to ask them. You could ask them any question, and even on the art side, ask them questions, and they were very able to answer it. For me, it was fun to see the texture of the water-based ink is so nice. Like I love plastisol, but it was nice to have that light feel. And we do a lot of more woodcut kind of art designs that work so well with plastisol, but we do have in our collection in the retail some designs that are very painterly. So I'm really excited to kind of see how they look, just going back to my original Photoshop files and then printing that. So it's just going to be a new tool in my arsenal that, you know, after going there made me more excited. At first I was kind of hesitant because I love the limited colors and just sometimes pushes design to a really good level. But after being there, I was like, oh, I can merge my style with the style of printing in a really good way. It's just learning the tool. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's a different thing, right? And originally, that was something that I realized after working with a lot of people that had the DS and they were printing, you know, thousands of shirts. You know, the customers started to educate me because it's a different thing than it becomes. You know, it isn't just a sweet spot of what technology do you use versus the order size. It becomes its own kind of its own printed quality, right? And people start to ask for that specifically. So that's kind of fun. That's a lot of fun from the art side, especially, but also in the way that it's done, because you can do it so quick. The color matching is, you know, quite a bit less. So that's fun. So you got the DS coming in real soon. So we're going to be excited to kind of come out there and experience that with you guys. Any thoughts about the upcoming install and what you guys are preparing in your shop? And I imagine there's a little bit of, you know, there's always some thoughts of excitement or different things, you know, as the equipment's getting ready. So you guys doing any preparatory stuff or what's going on there?
For sure. I mean, you know, there are obviously, you know, electrical requirements and, you know, trying to reimagine the space and how it's all going to fit, you know, and yeah, there are lots. We are very excited, but yeah, you're right. I mean, we're a little bit anxious, you know, and we're ready to get the process started. And yeah, you're right. Not too long. I mean, I think we gotta get some presses out and move some presses in and get some crates and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work. The next 3 weeks is gonna be wild for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to come visit you guys and see how the whole thing shakes out. And so, Michael, any final thoughts? You know, I know that you picked, and we're so proud and honored that you have picked M&R to be your partner in this, you know, journey that you're going in. But any final thoughts? You know, regards to before we come see you guys.
Saying that, look, we are an M&R shop. There's no doubt about it. We don't spend a lot of time worrying about what kind of equipment we're going to buy, right? We want the best, and we're only going to buy the best. If we can't afford the best, then we'll wait until we can.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson I learned very early on. For anybody who's been in this a long time, they'll recognize the absurdity of this, but I spent a grand total of $12,000 to buy a 4-color 4-station Atlas press, Atlas splash unit, and Atlas dryer in 1992. So, like, you don't forget those lessons, right? Like when you're going to the local hardware store once a week in hopes of finding some 30-year-old oven wire so you can rewire your press and make it dry with plastisol, like that kind of stuff really sticks with you. So we're just, you know, we're M&R's biggest advocates, and we're thrilled to have, this piece of equipment in here. Something I've observed, it's certainly not anything that I'm able to plan out and think about because, as long as I've been doing this, I still, I make up a lot on the spot and fake my way through it. But I think for us, looking back, it's about a 5-year cycle. About every 5 years, you really need an infusion of energy and of change and of the way your processes are working, right? Because look, there's no way around it. At this point in the journey, you still have to load that shirt and unload that shirt. And you still have to clean that screen and then reclaim that screen. You have to mix that ink and then mix that ink again. Those are things that don't, as of right now, they don't really go away. But you know what? The Digital Squeegee impacts all of those things at some level, right? So we're kind of at a 5-year mark right about now, where our last sort of big shop remodel, rethinking the way we do things happened about 5 years ago. And so it's super exciting for me, for us to be taking this next in my mind, what's a really logical step. And, I mentioned that we were close to, we had narrowed it down to either a DS or auto reclaim. But at some point, I woke up one morning and said, well, you know what? It doesn't make sense to invest in the auto reclaim. We don't really know what our screen count's going to be until after we make this step and go in the DS direction, right?
Yeah.
So that's really, because it touches so many parts of what we do, from sales and marketing to art to production, in every aspect of production, right? I think it's really, really exciting, and I hope that hope we do our part in letting everybody here know and communicating it to them. This is a big deal, and
Yep.
that this makes us special, and we need to optimize the investment that we're putting into this. And I think we will.
Yeah.
These two are the best at their jobs ever, anywhere. So that gives, I sleep really well at night knowing.
That's awesome. Well, no, I'm really excited for you guys, and I really look forward to coming out there and meeting you and seeing the install and how the equipment progresses. And I know you're going to do great things with it. And I've seen some of your art, and I know that's fantastic. And so I think you're going to have a lot of fun. So it'll be great to meet with you guys. Thanks again for your time today, and we'll look forward to it.
You bet. Thank you.
Go to chapter 2. All right. Thanks.